Hi there. So we're going to have a look at a simple riff that you can learn that's a kind of a rock and roll riff, and it's 12 bars. So it's a sort of fairly common format for a rock and roll song. And it's using a pattern that means you can play using the open strings, and all you have to do is change strings to do the different chords that are actually in the progression. So those are A, D, and E. Well, actually, you don't play chords; you're playing single notes, but that's the musical basis for the riff. So what you're doing is you're starting off with an open A string, playing that twice, playing the fourth fret of the A string twice, the second fret of the D string twice, then playing the fourth fret of the D string once, and back to the second fret of the D string. So the pattern is. And what I do is I leave my first finger here whilst I'm playing it, because that note is played through the sequence, and it just means that if you position your first finger there, you've got your pinky on the fourth fret, and that keeps your hand steady. So the idea is you're not moving your hand at all when you're playing the riff. So you play that 4 times, and then you move the riff up onto the D and G string. So now your first finger is on the second fret of the G string, and you're playing the open D string twice, fourth fret of the D string twice, first fret of the G, second fret of the G string twice, and then the fourth fret followed by the second fret of the G string. Then you play that twice, and then you come back down to the A string and you do the same pattern that you started off with. So open A, fourth fret on the A, second fret on the D, fourth fret down to second fret on the D. And you do that twice. Then you go down onto the bottom 2 strings. So now your first finger's on the second fret of the A string, and you're playing the open E, fourth fret of the E, second fret of the A, fourth fret of the A, back to the second fret of the A, and then you go up to D string, same pattern, open D, fourth fret of D, second fret of the G, fourth fret down the second fret on the G, and then finish one more time on the A, open A, fourth fret of the A, second fret of the D, fourth fret down the second fret of the D string, and you finish with an E chord, which you strum 8 times. So the whole sequence goes on the A string and the D string 4 times, up the D string and the G string, same pattern twice, back to the A string, same pattern twice, down to the E string for 1 pattern, up to the D string for 1 pattern, and back to the A string for 1 pattern, and then finish on the E string. Now that's played with a straightforward rhythm, so each of those notes is the same length. But you can also play it with a swing rhythm, which means it has a sort of a long note followed by a short note. That sounds like this. Exactly the same notes, same pattern. So starting off on the A string and the D string, moving up to the D string and the G string, and then back to the A string, down to the E string, up to the D string, and back to the E string. And this time when you strum it, you're doing 12 strums, because each beat is broken down into triplets, 3 notes. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Get a bit more confident, you can kind of include a few more strings and get that kind of shuffle rhythm going. So you're getting more of the notes, so you're kind of basically playing an A chord with your finger just like across the frets, and then for the same thing with the E. So that's a very kind of basic, standard rock and roll kind of pattern or riff you can play on the guitar.